Hola mis queridos estudiantes, soy yo, el señor Riesel, con otro video de gramática. Hoy discutiremos el imperfecto del subjuntivo, or the past subjunctive. In this video, we'll go over how to conjugate in this form and how it applies to what you've already learned. Remember that like the present subjunctive, we're not really talking about a tense. The subjunctive is a mood, prompted by expressions of influence. These expressions can be in the present or the past. To form the past subjunctive, we will begin with the ellos, ellas, ustedes form of the preterite tense. From there, we drop the ron ending and replace it with one of the past subjunctive endings. Once you get the hang of it, it's easy. Here are the endings that we'll use. Pause this as needed and take notes. Let's take a look at the AR verb caminar. We start with caminaron, the ellos, ellas, ustedes form of the preterite. Caminara, caminaras, caminara, camináramos, caminares, caminaran. Notice that the nosotros form has an accent mark. The ER verb comer begins with the ellos form comieron. Comiera, comieras, comiera, comiéramos, comierais, comieran. Practice conjugating a few more verbs before continuing. One more important factor to consider when conjugating is that the verbs that go through stem changes or other irregularities in the ellos, ellas, ustedes form of the preterite will see those same changes here. This includes verbs that are completely irregular in the preterite, such as hacer, ser, estar, and so on. As mentioned before, the same types of expressions that prompted us for the present subjunctive will do so in the past subjunctive. We've studied the acronym WEIRDO to help remember these categories of frases de influencia. You will need to review these. Let's take a quick look at one example for each letter in WEIRDO using the past subjunctive. Note that the expression of influence is in the past in almost all of these. W stands for wishes and wants. Yo quería que mis padres me compraran un coche. I wanted my parents to buy me a car. E is for emotions. Me alegré de que tú hicieras la tarea. It made me happy that you did the homework. I represents impersonal expressions. A form of ser is used, followed by an adjective and then que. Whether you use the preterite or the imperfect of ser will depend on the situation. Fue importante que nosotros estudiáramos para la prueba. It was important that we studied for the quiz. R stands for recommendations. Ella recomendó que yo viera esta película. She recommended that I see this movie. Finally, the O is for the expression ojalá. This one doesn't really have a tense. Ojalá que ellos devolvieran el libro. Hopefully, they return the book. Again, it's important to be comfortable with the different frases de influencia. Practice writing examples for each letter of WEIRDO using a variety of expressions. Another prompt for the past subjunctive is the expression como si, or as if. This is always followed by the past subjunctive. Por ejemplo, mi amigo compra cosas como si fuera rico. My friend buys things as if he were rich. Mi amiga me habló como si tuviera tiempo para escuchar. My friend talked to me as if I had time to listen. Finally, we will use the past subjunctive with the verb querer rather than the conditional to express what someone would like in a more polite way. We could use me gustaría que, for example, which would fall under wishes and wants, but this is another way. Quisiera hablar contigo. I would like to speak with you. Quisiera que me visites hoy. I would like you to visit me today. Stay tuned for the next video, which will discuss the combination of the conditional and the past subjunctive. Como siempre, chicos, muchas gracias por estudiar conmigo. Saquen buenos apuntes y por favor vengan a clase preparados con preguntas. Hasta el próximo video y adiós.